Hi, everybody. You are very welcome to the New Managers Bootcamp by Virindu Excel. We are very excited to have you join us. I'm sure by now you have introduced yourselves on Mighty Network. You have followed a few people. You've tagged a few people. You've made some connections. We are extremely excited to have you. My name is Peace Kadondi, and I'm going to be your facilitator guide for the bootcamp. I'm sure you have seen a couple of people who will be part of our faculty. And if you haven't, just go to the welcome section on Mighty Network and you'll be able to see all these amazing people that you'll have an opportunity to interact with over the course of the 8 weeks for the bootcamp and subsequently the 3 months within the community that will help us grow together as we work towards this goal of becoming new managers or first-time managers and just rocking it at our jobs, right? So let's just dive into what the next couple of weeks are going to look like. So what is this bootcamp about? What is the structure? What does it look like? What should you expect over the next 8 weeks and then subsequently the 3 months that come afterwards? So I'm sure you can look, as you look at my screen, you're able to see a picture of a tree. Someone just asked me this afternoon, why a tree? And I said to them, if you think about how a tree grows, a lot of the time you don't even see the elements that create a nourished tree. When you look at a mango tree or or an apple tree or a guava tree or whatever tree is common wherever you are around the world, a lot of the time you don't know. You just see the fruit of it. And so what we are interested in doing in the next couple of weeks is to give you the right ingredients under the soil, the ingredients that not many people will see, but that they're able to look at the fruit, which is you as a new manager, as a first-time manager, as a founder, as someone who initially or before now was an excellent individual contributor, but now you have moved into a place where you're leading other people, you're managing resources, you're managing a team or a group of teams, and we want you to rock at that as well. So if you look at the slide, you'll notice that it's divided into 2 bold sections, but really 3 sections. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see some learning outcomes. That is what we're going to focus on over the next couple of weeks. So for the 8 weeks of the bootcamp, we are going to focus on these 7 learning outcomes. We want you to gain tools for daily self-leadership. We would like you to understand your new identity as a manager or a leader. I'm sure, like I said, some of you came into this role as a manager via promotion. So you are a rock star, you are excelling at your individual role. So let's say you were part of a sales team, and maybe you were the person who was sales representative 3 years in a row. You had the most sales, you had the best sales. Or maybe you are part of an HR team. You are the person who hired the best talent. You were great at spotting talent and bringing talent into organizations. Maybe you applied for a leadership role. You applied to be a manager at a company and you sat through an interview process and you got the job. Or you are a founder, you're an entrepreneur. You've decided to bring a group of people together and lead that team, manage that team to achieve a certain goal. In all those different pictures, you have gone from being a solo player to now being responsible for other people. And so we would like you to understand this new responsibility that you have moved from that place where as an individual you were awesome, you were killing it, you were amazing at your job, and now moving into this place where your responsibility is to get other people to be rock stars. This is about your team collectively winning and not just about you as the individual shining. So we'll talk about that. We also want you to understand what it means to work in this culturally diverse world. I'm sure most of you now have people on your teams or even just within your organizations or your companies who are from a different country, speak their native language, perhaps is not your own. The way they think is different, the way they dress is different, the way they process information is different. And so, just what does understanding a diversity of culture and an open-mindedness, which is what we are calling inclusivity in the workspace, look like? The next thing that we'll talk through is how to motivate your team, and what does motivation look like, right? What is motivation? What does it mean to have a motivated team, and what does that then translate into when you are getting things done? We'll also talk about tools for resolving conflict, because we want to give you we want to equip you we want to equip you with tools that will help you resolve conflict. Everybody on who's watching can agree that conflict really truly is inevitable. You can't agree with everybody. I mean, if you don't even agree with your siblings with whom you share parents, how much more people who are raised in a completely different setting? They didn't have your parents, they had a completely different set of parents, their circumstances around life are different. How much more then? And yet, conflict in itself is not a bad thing. It just means that if you have the right tools and the right attitude towards it, you're able to resolve conflict. And healthy conflict resolution then leads to greater results within a workspace. We'll also want you to think about what makes your team tick, understanding and learning that. It's not an accident that teams that do well, great teams are not they don't happen by accident. It's not magic. It's not magic when a team wins a championship. It's not by accident. I'm sort of a Formula One fan. Actually, no, I I have sort of been introduced to the Formula One family, and in the last season of Formula One racing, Mercedes had been winning. They'd been on an eight-year winning streak. That's not an accident. That doesn't just happen. There's things that happen in the background within a team that helps everybody operate at peak performance that then gives you peak results, right? So yeah, again, we'll just take you through a process of understanding what can get your team to be great, that can get your team to be excellent. What are the elements and components that make that possible? And then we will give you tools for communication. Nothing works without people communicating and communicating well. And so, again, people who you weren't raised in the same family with or didn't have the same education background that you do, but here you are finding yourselves in a space where you have to work together. Now you have to achieve goals together. If you're not communicating well, then that's not going to happen. You might even be incredibly talented as individuals, but if you're not communicating with one another, then you will not win as a team. And so it's your job as the leader, as the manager of that team, regardless of its size, to get people communicating well. And you, as the leader, whether it's as a leader of your sales team or your developers team or of your enterprise or of your startup, it is your responsibility to understand communication, to understand the tools that make communication work, and then get the rest of your team to be on board with that so that you can flourish together. All right, so what will our learning format look like over the next, before I get to that, sorry, I was excited, I was moving on to the next slide. But so just that section on your screen, that green section over there, is our learning outcomes. This is what we're going to cover over the next 7 weeks. Now, right after that, we will have 3 months of post-bootcamp engagement on Mighty Networks. You are already part of the Virindu New Managers Bootcamp community on Mighty Networks. The engagement and conversation will start right now. Hopefully, it started as soon as you got on, introduced yourself, put up a picture, began to follow people, began to ask questions, or just engage, tell people about yourself, what it is that you're trying, what are your expectations for the space, and what you're hoping to learn and achieve in the next couple of weeks. But what's going to happen at the end of the 8 weeks is that there's going to be just engagement focus. We will have conversations, we'll have surveys and polls and themed conversations on Zoom over topics that you guys are interested in, things that will help you take all of this information that you have learned, these tools, these ideas, these principles, these suggestions, and then now go and test them, basically. What's working for you? What's not working for you? In that time, that's when we are going to be refining. Those 3 months are going to be the time to test these pieces of information, these tools that we'll have given you. And that's just the focus. The focus will be on this works, this doesn't work. Guys out there, what's working for you? Help me. We'll have industry experts coming in and doing like webinars, and you guys will meet them and have conversations with them. So that's a great time for you to engage with faculty in conversations, and would like you to use that time. Would like you to use that time well, because, like I said, the fruit that you see at the end of the day is a combination of all of these things. So don't check out mentally, don't check out physically, don't leave the group prematurely, don't leave the Mighty Network channel prematurely. Dig in this time, dig in and attend the events, participate in the conversation, ask the questions, share your knowledge, share your experiences. There's people on here from every place on the continent. There are people from north, south, east, west of Africa. There's people from the diaspora. It's an excellent place for you to network, to learn, to just have a moment of collective intelligence. See what's working, see what's not, what can you tweak, how can you tweak it, and stick with the process, basically. Stick with the process. And then what's the goal? What's the goal? What's the end game? What's the end goal for all of this? It's that fruit that you see at the top of the tree that is now being produced in the branches, which is now you as a new manager. If you read our promotional material carefully, you will notice that we've been talking about this thing called 5x ROI. And we've been saying to you that our commitment to you is to give you tools that increase your value, so that, I guess in this case, that value was 200 and whatever amount that was, right? Our commitment to you is to help you take the value that you paid at the start and multiply it by a factor of 5, and then see what that looks like. What does 5x return on investment on $250 look like in terms of my output in the team, in the workspace that I am involved in? So one of the things that we've been saying that we are committed to in this process is to give you all the knowledge that we know you need to help you multiply your value. Now, notice I'm not saying multiply your profit or multiply your revenue, because I know that for some people, we run very quickly to the money. And like generally speaking, we should, right? But let me take a person who's, let's say, on the developer on a developers team. You're now managing developers. What would it look like to increase the value of your team right now by 5? So let me give you an example. Maybe what it is that as a team, you have been spending a lot of time in meetings. Perhaps in your typical 40-hour week, you've been spending about 10 hours in meetings. And those 10 hours have been eating up into your time to actually code. And you're saying, you know what? For the duration of this bootcamp, what I would like to do is to shorten our meeting time, sharpen it so that we are having extremely effective meetings that allow us to take out action points that we then execute in our coding the rest of the time. So reduce our meeting time from 10 hours a week to say 3 hours a week. And with that, you have then taken this goal, taken the value that you initially came into the bootcamp with, and excuse me, and then just slapped a, what does that look like? What does a return on investment 5 times look like with that kind of focus? So we want to give you the tools to help you do that. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to help you do. Eventually, that will translate into some kind of money and revenue and profit. Maybe, maybe not. But what it will do for sure is that it will increase your efficiency. It will increase your productivity. This process will improve your ability to work with your team and to get the best out of it. So we'd like you to focus. Would like you to focus. Would like you to take advantage of every single opportunity that is provided, any moment of engagement that is provided. Please participate, engage. So our learning format will be such that during the week, you will watch a couple of bite-sized videos. We know you're busy people, and so we don't want to give you lots of information all at once. So we will give you short videos that you can watch and just go back and internalize the information that we are sharing. And then with that will come activities. So with each session, we will share activities with you, which we will ask you to participate and share with the rest of the group. Most of your activities are going to be in the form of video recordings. Now, please don't get hung up on the quality of the video. Don't get hung up on the quality of the video. We're not asking you to go find production houses and recruit media crews to shoot professional videos. No, we're asking you to just record yourselves, your thoughts, your reflections, any struggles you might be having, any wins that you are experiencing, and share those depending on the activity with the team. Some of the activities might not be video based, but a lot of them will be. And again, just record yourselves maybe on your phone or on your laptop. Just make sure you have some good lighting. And when I say good lighting, I mean wherever it is you are, just face the source of light. That's it. Just face the source of light so that when we watch your video, we're able to see your face. Again, nothing complicated. And maybe also just pay attention to your environment so that you're not competing with loud sounds around you. But other than that, it's very low quality, nothing complicated. We're just interested in hearing you and your experience as you learn. And then all of these two things culminate into live sessions, which will be happening on Saturdays. And during those live sessions, We will take your ideas, we will take your maybe your questions, and we will facilitate a conversation. I'm stressing the word facilitate here because we're not coming to teach. One of the best things about adult learning is that we learn best from our peers as adults. So we will use a coaching style during the live sessions. We'll take an issue, we'll take a couple of problems that people have faced during the week and have not been able to find some kind of solution, and we'll have a coaching style conversation through those on the live sessions, during the live sessions on the Saturdays. We'll have groups within those sessions. So again, we are encouraging this peer-to-peer learning. We are encouraging you and getting you to participate. We're getting you to talk to one another. We're getting you to talk to people that you ordinarily and usually don't speak with, and to just learn what incredible, awesome things are happening around the world with people who have the exact same challenges that you have, but just perhaps live in a different part of the world or work in a different sector that you might work in. So that's the format that we will take. I've already asked that we engage. I'm stressing that we engage, and we're giving you some options on how to do that. So the first is that we will have one-on-one coaching time made available. Now, the coaching time is optional. There's no compulsory mess around it. You get to choose if you are interested in coming on a coaching call. So we'll share time slots within which you are able to talk to members of the faculty and the buddy system. We have a buddy system that we have put in place, and it's set up of people who participated in our 1.0 bootcamp. So it's people who have experienced what you are experiencing right now. They've gone through the process. They know what it means to go through the bootcamp, and they're now back, taking some of this information that we've shared along the way and are using it. So you would have to book their time. It's a 15 minutes call, which means you come to the call with an issue that you would like to talk through, and within that time they will, you have a conversation and they will help coach you through that. So that's the first thing. The second is that there'll be several surveys, polls, games, just things that we will share on Mighty Networks during outside of the activities that just help you stay engaged. And we're asking, engage with them, because they're helping both you and us just understand how you are learning, understand how you are experiencing the program, but also for you that it's helping you process. It's part of how you're processing your experience during the bootcamp. And then the last is a peer-to-peer Q&A forum. That wording is very, very intentional, because usually when people have Q&A forums, there's a group of people who's asking questions, and then there's a group of experts who are providing answers. And we are saying we would like to flip that a little bit. And we would like peers to be asking questions and peers to be answering these questions. There is a lot of knowledge that you already have. There's things that are working for some of you in your different spaces, that this is an excellent place for you to share this knowledge, right? So please engage in the peer-to-peer Q&A forums. When someone asks a question and you have an answer for it, by all means respond to them. And all you're doing is sharing your experience. You're sharing what's working, perhaps what's not working. You're sharing a challenge, you're sharing an experience, you're sharing how you went from what was challenging to perhaps what is now working. Basically, the answers are with you. And so we're asking that you engage in that space as well. Now, if there's a question or an area or a topic that may be sticky and people are not necessarily understanding what it is, then we on this end as the faculty will pick that up, and it's something that we would address during the live sessions on the Saturday. So don't worry, we're not going to leave you, we won't leave you out hanging, but we don't want to come into this space as the people who have all the answers or who know it all. No, leadership is a journey. Management and learning how to be good managers and leaders is a journey. We are all on it, and there's always something to learn from each other, basically from each other. So let's engage in those 3 ways. If there's more ways that you'd like to engage, let us know. We're happy to accommodate wherever it is we are able to accommodate as we go through this process. So with that, just to help you appreciate where we are going, what's going to happen over the next 4 or so months, and to just say we are very excited. As the Virindu team, we are extremely excited to help solve what we think is an actual pain within the first-time managers community, whether it is that you got promoted to management, or you applied for a management role and you got it, or you are the person who's collecting a group of people to solve a problem as a founder, an entrepreneur, a venture builder, and things like that. So we are excited to take this journey with you. We noticed that not many people get training at the start, and so you struggle, you experience like the loss of joy to go to work. When you are by yourself, being a rock star, you enjoyed your job, and now when you're responsible for other people, it's just daunting, because they are not necessarily doing things how you do them. They're not necessarily producing and moving at your pace. And yet now this is your job. This is your job to get everybody else to shine, so that collectively as a team, you are winning. So thank you. From my part of the world, from East Africa, we say karibu. We say karibu sana. And we are looking forward to taking you on this journey. So welcome, and see you in the next video.